Linfield Coaches CatChat for the Linfield Sports Network. This one for the Linfield softball program. Catball off to a good start. Joe Stuart here with head coach Jackson Vaughn talking about the first couple series of the year. Coach, how you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Doing great, especially after seeing Catball get out there and get a few wins. Unfortunately, rain made you not able to get the sweep right away. Fourth game against Willamette will be rescheduled. But how did it feel good starting conference play with a solid win over, solid 3 wins over a team that was able to get a game off you last year, won it in a couple of different ways. How was the team feeling after those few victories this weekend?
You're always feeling good, obviously, if you can find ways to win. And, credit to Willamette. I told their coaching staff, I thought they were much improved from last year. They had some kids that I thought just made some great plays on defense and ran down a few balls in the outfield, and their middle infielders made some plays, and their pitching staff I thought was improved. And so the games were, tight, particularly the first day. Taya pitched and was in control in the first game, and we won kind of going away 4-0. Never really, the game wasn't really too much in question, but in game 2, we fall behind 2-0 and stayed that way until we got into the middle innings, but the kids found a way to kind of scrap and claw and find a way to win the game, and Wadsworth settled down and pitched pretty well after that first inning. And and then game 3 I thought was obviously the cleanest game we played, where Taya pitched real well again, but we just hit better, and obviously Katie Phillips had a great game, and we ended up winning 8-0 and was definitely probably one of the better overall, like, top to bottom games we'd played so far this year.
Let's start with Taya a little bit here. Let's talk about her talent and her ability to hit the ground running like she has this season. Back-to-back shutouts this weekend, whole mess of strikeouts the whole way through. What makes her so special as a talent in this league and just being able to get right, into her groove right at the start of the season?
Obviously just being experienced helps, She's a kid who's just improved so much since she was a freshman, and nerves used to be a big part of what she kind of fought when she was younger, and she's a much more confident pitcher now, and she understands if she can execute and hit spots with being able to throw with some velocity, that she's going to have a chance to be successful. And I think just that confidence level and being a little more aggressive going at hitters and not necessarily being so careful and keeping the ball off the plate too much, at times. And she's been able to get ahead in the count much more frequently, and so that's led to, a lot of success on the field. But I certainly think mentally just her confidence is so much greater than it was when she was a freshman in particular. But she's just continued to make kind of big leaps from year to year. And we'll see how the rest of this year continues out. We'll certainly be challenged much more, I think, by the talent we see down in Georgia.
Absolutely. We'll get into those games in Georgia in a bit here. I do want to talk about Haley Wadsworth too, though. So she came out in that game too, gave up a couple runs early, but then really settled down. What do you like about her as a freshman, earning? Really seems like she's earning her spot as the second pitcher in the rotation.
Yeah, she's done a good job, and she I think just handles herself in the circle well in terms of stays composed, and that's such a big part of pitching and having success is to be able to mentally handle the ups and downs. And I think she's probably is more nervous than she shows, but she does a good job and has the ability to change speeds and do some things to keep teams off balance. And I think we'll hopefully get to see a few more kids pitch in Georgia and hopefully see the emergence of another pitcher or two that will give us a little bit more depth with the way the games have unfolded. And as dominant as kind of Taya has been, we've really just seen mainly Haley and Taya so far. So we'll kind of see how the rest of the thing unfolds.
Which other pitchers are you looking at getting to here in Georgia?
We'll see. We're going to scrimmage some today and kind of see who kind of looks the best today, to be honest. And because all of them have kind of had ups and downs where they've looked the part on some days and then have had days that are a little bit rougher with consistency. And so, to be honest, it could be any of the other 4 remaining pitchers. But we were going to probably start Tyler Warden in Game 4 against Willamette, so she's certainly right there in the mix. And Dayla McAuliffe has really done some good things as a freshman, control-wise, and having some off-speed stuff. And so we'll see. But Jordan and Cheyenne both have capabilities, too, if they can settle in and just be consistent.
Yeah. Then shifting gears offensively, took a little bit to get the bats going. A little bit. 4 runs in both of those first 2 games is certainly nothing to sneeze at. But, against a team like Willamette, the 8-0 win on Saturday was certainly maybe what some fans were more expecting. What do you think led to the Bats being a little bit quieter there on Friday night and then waking up with a big explosion, 8-0 run rule victory on Saturday?
We were just a little bit off, but like I said, I thought Willamette's pitching staff has improved, and they made some plays on defense. And then, we had a few more hits than the runs indicated, I think, on Friday. We just scattered them and had kind of a hit in an inning and then would kind of bog out. And certainly on Saturday, we just strung the hits together, particularly early. And then we got more big hits, too, which obviously leads, you get home runs, the runs add up fast, but even doubles and triples obviously make it much easier to score. So there's just more big hits, and we just didn't put the ball up in the air quite as much. We had a lot more line drives and that are obviously much tougher to make plays on. So that made a difference, too.
And, a couple of players that really stood out were two of your seniors. Katrina Johns on Friday night came through a big 3-for-3 day, couple RBIs. And then on Saturday, Katie Phillips, a single away from the cycle, and she probably would have gotten there if the game hadn't ended early. What's it like having those two, and just, the couple of seniors on a year where you guys have a lot of turnover, such reliability from players like that in your order?
You definitely need it. I mean, they're the ones that have the most experience. Particularly Katie has started every game since she was a freshman, so that kid's seen a lot of innings. And Katrina Cat is definitely just improved a lot, and obviously played every game for us last year. But as a freshman, was a backup to McKenna Kleiser, and has kind of had to earn her spot. But she's just improved greatly too. But just having all that game experience for both of them certainly helps settle the younger players. And certainly in softball and baseball, sometimes you just need a kid to kind of show you the way and get a hit, and everybody kind of settles in. And so having them be able to do that, particularly where they're hitting in kind of the 2-3, 2-4 spots, certainly usually sets the tone for the rest of the lineup. And Bailey's done a pretty good job leading off and setting the table too with their speed, and certainly that makes a big difference too if she gets on.
Definitely, and I feel like you really saw what the team could be offensively with consistency on Saturday. But looking ahead to Georgia, is this weekend with the NFCA Leadoff Classic, I mean, you're playing a lot of good teams. Is this a kind of a measuring stick type of trip for the team, with still some question marks? What are you going to be looking to figure out against this more talented slate of opponents coming up?
Yeah, you just got to get to see where you're at. Teo will be tested more as a pitcher against some of the more elite hitting teams that we'll see. And just as a whole, you're playing 6 games essentially in a row. There's no breaks in between, so each game we play is just a regular doubleheader back-to-back real quick. And it's going to be hot. It's going to be 80 to 86 most of the time while we're there. And so how the kids handle the heat, and then how we handle the competition. And, playing 6 different opponents is a little bit harder to scout and prep. And to be honest, there's several of the teams, this is their first games of the year in Georgia that are from the East Coast, so there's not a lot to go off from this year. So you're kind of guessing a little bit from last year, but so many of them are so far away, there's really no video to look at to really get a great feel for, what their pitchers do in that sort of sense. You're going in, not necessarily blind, but certainly just going in and kind of measuring where you're at and seeing, how kids can adapt a bat to a bat and game to game a little bit. And, for us, like I said, what pitchers can be the most consistent too, will be a big indicator of how we do. But it'll be fun because there is several teams that are consistently usually ranked in the top, 25, 30 that we get to play. And Salisbury is always very good, and they just knocked off Virginia Wesleyan last weekend, who's a perennial power. So we know that there will be some really good national competition to face, and I think that's what the kids are most excited about. Is sometimes just go fun to measure yourself against the other best teams that are out there. So.
And always fun to take a cross-country trip to play some softball games too. Well, fun in some ways, less fun in others. But once again, the Cats are down in Georgia this weekend with the NFCA Leadoff Classic, going up against some other big-time D3 teams. They will be providing streams down there. Wildcats will then return back home to host Whitworth on the 12th and 13th right here in McMinnville. We'll, of course, have live coverage for you on the Linfield Sports Network, but we'd love for you to come down and cheer on the Cats in person. Coach, thanks for the time today.
Yeah, thank you.